What is up, guys? My name's Travis. We are back for poker vlog number 4. We're going to be playing some 2-5 today in the usual spot just south of Tampa, Florida. It is Friday evening, and I usually don't play in the evening times, which is probably a big mistake on my end. I've been playing through the day. It just has worked better for my schedule, but as a poker player now, I really need to get in here when the games are good, when some people are in here to have some fun, and choose my times a little bit better. And side note, only 3 videos in, we are catching some traction here on the YouTube channel. So I just want to say again, a quick thank you to everybody that has taken the time to watch my videos, subscribe, like them, and especially the people that have taken the time to write some feedback in the comment section. I really, really appreciate it. And the more I'm playing and recording, the more I'm realizing how many leaks I have in my game right now and how much work I have ahead of me to keep improving my game to become a real long-term winning player here. At 2-5, let alone moving up eventually to 5-10. I'm bankrolled for 5-10 right now, but I would absolutely get my soul crushed playing 5-10. So we're going to stick to 2-5 for quite a while here. I have a lot to learn. And again, thank you to everybody in the comment section taking the time. Give some feedback. I can tell it's sound advice most of the time. So without further ado, we're going to go in here. We're going to play some cards. Wish me some luck. So we get set right down at the 2-5 table. I take a quick look around and I quickly realize I'm at the table of absolute crushers, the best players that come to this card room on a consistent basis to play in these stakes. My first hand, I'm in the big blind. I look down at Queen 4 of diamonds. It limps around to the button, who opens it up to $20. And of course, he is going to have a very wide opening range. I could call, fold, or put in a 3-bet bluff here. I think all options are on the table. And I decide to take the path of violence. I'm going to put in a 3-bet bluff. I bump it up to $70. And he doesn't take very long at all to make his decision. He puts in the call for $70. And I instantly regret my decision to 3-bet. And the board comes 2-3-10 rainbow, which is horrible for my 3-betting range. But my range is uncapped, being the pre-flop aggressor. I could always have a strong overpair. I think if I check, I'm not going to win. So I throw out a continuation bet of $60. And he thinks it over for a little bit. After about 20 seconds, he reaches for chips. He decides not to call, but that $60 is not enough. He raises me to $260. So an absolutely massive raise. And there is nothing else to do except throw our cards into the muck and move on. I actually don't mind how I played this hand. It was an ambitious move that did not work out. But sometimes in tough games, you know what, damn it, you just gotta go for it. This hand, we are on the button. There's a raise from a tight middle position player to $20. There's definitely merit to 3-betting, but this player, I've not really seen him get out of line too many times. I could go 3-bet or call here. In this situation, I decide to go with the flat call and see what the flop brings. And the board brings 3-4-5 with 2 clubs. My opponent is going to be the first one to act. He's thinking his options over. He doesn't wait too long before he leads out for $40. I debate on raising right here because the board is good for my range. And I have pocket 10s, but I ultimately decide on a call. And I'm curious to see what develops on the turn card here, because this board is horrible for him. And the turn brings an 8, which really doesn't change anything on the context of this board. I would expect if he does not have a big overpair right now that he would begin to slow down, but he does not. He bets out for $150. So I'm sitting here with pocket 10s and overpair to the board, not really sure where I'm at this point. Kind of annoyed. I could go for a raise, but I just go for the flat call. I can't go anywhere just yet. I want to see what develops on the river. And the river brings a 9 of spades. So again, does not change much except the fact I no longer beat pocket 9s. And I halfway expect my opponent to just go ahead and check on this river card because the board has just not gotten great for him. Except he does not. He bets out $225 here. At this point, after he blasts for 3 streets in a row, I get super annoyed with myself on not raising on the flop or the turn and taking control of the hand earlier. I'm just reduced to a total bluff catcher at this point, and I'm in the tank for a little while here. And the more I think about it, the more I realize there is just nothing I beat. My pocket tens beat nothing except a complete airball bluff on 3 streets. And this is something that I could probably get away from. Not probably, I should be able to get away from this 100% of the time. But I love to punt off money. I want to slip in the call, and he flips over. Pocket queens, no surprise, and we lose a big one. Shortly after that last hand, we put it in for a table change because I'm smart enough to know when I'm playing with guys a little bit out of my league right now. I have a lot to learn, and as much as I want to play with the best, I do not have much interest in punting off a bunch of money while I'm going through the learning curve to become a consistently winning poker player. So we go ahead and move over to the friendly looking table. Guys there on a Friday evening having drinks, splashing around, having fun. Regardless of my skill level, I think that's the table that I want to be playing at regardless. So we're happy to be here, especially in our first hand when we sit down and we look down at pocket threes. There's a couple limpers. The small blind min raises to $10. I'm in the big blind. I go ahead and make the call, and so do 2 other players. And the flop comes 9-2-2. The small blind puts a wager out of $5. I don't have much of a choice here. I could probably raise, but I don't feel like getting tricky. I put in the call for $5 more, and we go heads up to a turn. And the turn brings a king of diamonds. The small blind does his usual, bets $5 again, and this time I'm going to raise. I've had enough of the shenanigans. Time to see if he has a hand that's actually worth continuing on with or not. And the raise to 25 is too much for him. He folds and we scoop our first pot. I'm in early position. The straddle is on. I look down at ace-10 of clubs. I flat call because I've been limp 3-bet twice already. The button is trying to say he woke up with a monster. On the straddle, go figure. He squeezes for $50. I already underplayed my hand. I go ahead and make the call, and we go 3 ways to a flop. I can already tell at my short tenure here that I'm going to enjoy this table a lot more than the other one I was at. And the board comes 7 deuce king with 2 clubs. So obviously a pretty good flop for ace-10 of clubs. First act checks, I check, and the button naturally bets out $100. I heavily think I'm going to raise this until the other guy calls. And at that point, it's a little dicey to check raise bluff here, especially against a guy that's been playing pretty snug. I put in the call for $100, and the turn brings another king. So 2 kings on the board, me in first position, both check, and the button continues again for only $100. So deja vu, me and the opponent both come along with another call. I'm priced in to see the river. Let's go all the way. And we completely miss. This is the issue with not playing aggressive, not check raising your semi-bluffs. It checks through, and he flips over pocket aces. I was not surprised. So maybe it was for the best that I did not go for the bluff, because I don't know if he's folding that. At this point in the session, we're down about $800, but the night is young, the game is good, we have a heart of gold and a desire to win. Let's go. We are in middle position, the straddle is on for $10. I look down at king 5 of clubs. Not the prettiest hand, but we're going to bump it up to $30. Only the big blind makes the call, and that takes us to a flop, which comes ace 9-4 with just 1 club on there. Obviously not a good flop for my hand, but pretty decent for my range. I check. He quickly checks back, which is a good sign. I'd imagine he'd be betting all of his aces. Turn brings a 5 of diamonds, so I decide to bet 35. I could definitely be representing an ace here. And I have a 5 on the board now, which is good right now, but if he has overcards, which he more than likely does, I don't want him spiking one of those on the river. can't be giving him a free river card here. And he finds the fold. So we scoop a little pot here, get some momentum going our way, which feels nice. There's a couple limps to me. I'm in the small blind. I look down at ace 3 of clubs. I decide $5 is not going to be enough. I bump it up to 20. And I get no respect naturally. 2 limpers come along, and we're going to go 3 ways to a flop. And the board comes queen, 8, ace. So boom, we hit top pair. Bad kicker, but at this table, I'm usually ahead by 10 miles here. I go ahead, don't waste any time. I lead out for 25. 1 player makes the fold, and 1 player makes the call. The turn comes, and it is the king of spades. So, doesn't change too much in my opinion on this board. I still feel good about my hand. If anything, maybe I can get him to fold a little bit better kicker to their ace than mine. I bet out 65, but he snap folds. And we scoop another little momentum builder, $115 pot, coming our way. The straddle is on once again. There is 1 limper to me. I look down at a beautiful ace-king offsuit. I bump it up to $35. Player to my left calls, and then we get 1 more player to call as well. So we're going 3 ways. Flop comes king, 9, 8. I'm out of position first act. I check. It quickly checks around. And the turn brings a 6 of diamonds. So I'm first act again, of course. And I will not be checking this time. I bet out $50. Guy to my left could not fold quick enough. He pretty much beat me there. And the other player comes along with the call. That is going to lead us to the river, which comes another board pairing 6. 6 of clubs. There's 215 in the pot. I'm first act, and I think I can possibly get value out of a weaker king here. I know if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to give him a pretty good price. I bet $75. Very casual price. Nice and welcoming. He checks his cards, but he throws them away pretty quickly. He obviously did not have a king. Apparently did not have much of anything, but we scoop another $215 pot. This hand gets pretty crazy, so stick with me on this one. There's a straddle on. 1 person limps before me. I have ace-queen offsuit. I bump it up to $35. The straddle comes along with the call, and another player comes along with the call as well. The flop comes queen, deuce, deuce. I'm first act. Whenever I check in first act, it seems to always check around. So I'm just going to go ahead and lead out for a small $20 bet. Try to get some action going on this pretty dry board. 1 player folds, and the straddle, who's a pretty loose player having some fun, comes along with the call. And would you believe it, the turn comes a queen of diamonds. So a double flush draw board in here with a maniac. I don't think I can get value from anything here. I check. He bets out $25, which is very interesting. I'm out of position here. I don't want to call this and then just jam the river. I think my only option here is to check raise him. That's what I do, $75. And he decides to snap, jam all in, over the top. He's like 400 effective at this point. And he says, "Oh my god, do you have a queen?" And I say, "Yeah, you don't have a queen? I thought we were going to chop." And he throws his cards on the table. He had a flush draw, and I do not know what he was thinking. But I caught a punt on second down, it seems. And that leads to us scooping an almost $900 pot. Talk about a change of events. Fired up after that last hand, but it's late. This ends up being our last hand of the night. There's a straddle. I look down at queen jack of spades. I bump it up to $30 naturally. And again, still no respect. I get 3 callers, so we're heading 4 ways to a flop here on the last hand of the night. Board comes out 9-9 king, 4 ways with $120 in the middle. First act checks. I am definitely going to be continuing on this board. I put out a small continuation bet of $35. Got to be careful multi-way. I get 1 call, 1 fold, and then 1 more call from our buddy from the last hand over there to my right. And the turn double pairs the board with another king. I do not improve my equity, and I want to see where I'm at. First to act checks. I'm going to check this one. And last to act also checks. So he's obviously not very strong. I start putting an evil plan together in my head if I miss, which I totally do. 6 of clubs. First to act checks once again. And I don't think I'm going to be winning this with queen high. So you can probably guess what's coming here. That's right, we're going for it. Everyone has shown too much weakness for too much money in this pot. And I am going to take a stab at this. The gentleman right across from me looks like he's just been put in the blender. I can't really imagine what he has. He doesn't look too confident in his hand. Showing his buddy usually means you're folding it, saying, watch how good of a fold this is. Nice hand. The other guy says, will you show if I fold? I say, sure, why not, man? And I show him the bluff. The gentleman across from me is in total disbelief. He folded pocket queens, and he showed his buddy beside him. I wish I could stick around because we're all having a lot of fun. The game is great, but it's late. I made all my money back. I'm content with leaving for the night. Let's hit the cage and head on out. What is up, guys? It is now 1:15 a.m. at the time of recording this. We played about 6 hours tonight, and it was a roller coaster of a session. We went down very significantly early on. I let a guy get 3 streets of value when he had pocket queens. I had pocket tens. I just called him down, and on the 3rd street, I mean, come on, dude. What am I doing calling that hand down? I'm a little upset with how I played that. I think maybe even I could have gotten away with a check raise on the flop and then a barrel on the turn just because of the board texture and what his range versus what my perceived range could have been. But that's what we're here doing. We were in for 1,500. We cashed out for 1,502. So a break-even session, but I'm going to consider today a win after going down early like that, making some big mistakes and fighting back the whole rest of the session to get back to breaking even. It was a fun time as well. We sat down with a lot of fun people, played some good poker in my opinion, had some laughs, and at the end of the day, it is a game. You have to remember to have fun while you're playing. So but that's going to conclude poker vlog number 4. As always, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. It means the world to me, and we will see you on the next one.